Okay, so today I'll teach you about JSON and how we can work with the data flow JSON. Okay, so to give you a brief idea about JSON, JSON is JavaScript object notation. So this basically defines the format of data with how the data will be fetched and what are the actions. For example, when we are fetching the data from Salesforce, so what action should it use? It should be edgemart or whatever. So we have a few actions in JSON. Okay, so JSON has the following actions. First is edgemart. Second, you can say is SFDC digest. Third is, you can say, augment. Fourth is, you can say, register. Okay, so we will learn about these actions uh, for JSON. So hope uh, this is visible. So basically, what I'll do is I'll uh, I'll show you the use of each and every action described here. So these are the JSON actions: edgemart, SFDC digest, augment, and register. Okay, so we'll learn about these actions when when we encounter them. Okay, so uh, let me teach you JSON by creating a data set. What happens in the backend and how you can use JSON to create data set yourselves, and you'll not have to use these GUI features to fetch data from Salesforce, and you can simply write the JSON, and it is really very easy to write JSON. I'll show you how we write the JSON. See, um currently whatever I'll do, it will on the back end it will create a JSON, and I'll show you how the JSON is created and what are the actions and all these things. Okay, so basically I will first pick an object, right? I want to pick an object to start with. Let me say I want opportunity. Okay, so I've picked up opportunity. Now I need some fields from this object. I've selected amount, I've selected whether it is deleted or not, I've selected description, I've selected a few more fields. Okay, uh, then I've selected lead source, I've selected name, I'll select opportunity ID, opportunity source, opportunity type. Okay, probability, quantity, stage. Okay, so let's have a uh, look at the JSON that has been created in the backend. You can always view the JSON from here. Clicking on this button will open the JSON viewer. So this is JSON preview of um, whatever we are creating here. Okay, remember by default the this this is basically a, you can call it as an ID or node in JSON. These are nodes, various nodes which are executed one by one. So JSON executes 100 first, and then it will execute 101. Okay, so this way it will proceed 100, 101, 102, 103. So this way it will, it will proceed to execute your nodes. Okay, and remember, it is not important to write 100 here. I can write anything here, like for example I can write my name also. I can write Ashutosh, I can write Dipojal, or I can even write OPP, or something like opportunity a underscore extract or extract underscore opportunity. So this is something, this is like a name of the node. We can write whatever the node is performing. For example, here it is fetching the data of opportunity. So I can change this name to fetch underscore opportunity, but obviously this is a JSON preview, I cannot change it here. I can save the JSON and then I can edit the JSON. Okay, so I can also write extract underscore opportunity, or opportunity underscore extract, or OPP extract. Okay, so this way I can write the name of this node. And then, as you can see, this is the action is SFDC digest. So what does SFDC digest do? SFDC digest is used to um, extract data from Salesforce. Okay, so this will be used to extract data from Salesforce. Okay, so you can use this particular action to specify that you want to fetch data from Salesforce. Okay, you 15 hours. You use it to specify that you are fetching data from Salesforce. For example, here in action you've written SFDC digest. So this implies that we are fetching the data here. We want to perform an extraction of data from Salesforce. So then this is the action, and then comes the parameters. In parameters, what are the things we specify? In parameters we specify which object. Okay, so this is the API name of object, which is opportunity. For example, if opportunity was a custom object, I would have specified opportunity underscore underscore c. So I could have written it this way, like opportunity. For example, if I created a new object, opp underscore underscore c, if I want to fetch data from that particular object, I will specify in parameters the object name as opp underscore underscore c, and then in fields I will say name as name is a field. Here we specify the fields. Okay, so first we specify our action, which is for example SFDC digest here in our case, because we want to extract the data. And then we specify the parameters. In parameters we specify the object name from which the data needs to be fetched, and what are the fields that need to be fetched. Remember, I selected 14 fields here. Okay, so you will be able to see all those 14 fields here. From opportunity I selected, let me show you. From opportunity, I selected amount, then deleted, then description, then fiscal period. See, amount, then deleted, then description, then fiscal period. Okay, so these are the API names of those fields for which I need to extract the data. Okay, so in parameters we specify the object name, opportunity, and then the fields. See, fields and name, amount, name is deleted, name description, name fiscal year, name fiscal quarter, name fiscal, name lead source, name. Okay, so the here we specify that the name of this field is ID. We specify that the name of the field is opportunity source underscore underscore c. The name of the field is type. Okay, the name of the field is probability. Okay, the name of the field is total opportunity quantity. Okay, and then the name of the field is stage name. So after we specified all the fields, we close this square bracket. It is these fields, this particular thing is opened using square bracket, so we close it. And then after that we close this particular um, curly bracket which was opened here in parameters. And after that, this is the final curly bracket for our id, which specifies 100. Okay, and remember always JSON starts with curly bracket. Okay, it will always start with curly bracket. There's nothing before this thing, right? Obviously the whole code is enclosed within curly bracket. Okay, so this is the curly bracket I was talking about. The whole code is enclosed within these curly brackets. Okay, so nothing is kept before this curly bracket. Okay, so I've specified 100. Now I'm specifying 101. Okay, in 101 the action is sfdc register. So what does sfdc register do? Sfdc register is uh, see sfdc register will, what it will do is it will register the dataset in wave analytics. So this means it will create a dataset. Okay, so it will create a data set in wave analytics. So what does that mean? It means that it will create a data set out of out of the data that we fetched from here. Because in parameters, here in parameters we specify the source. Like source is 100. If I named it as opp underscore fetch data, so I would have written opp underscore fetch data here in source. So this means what is the source of this data? Like we want to create a data set, what will be the source? So I'm specifying that 100 will be the source. Because 100, what does it have? It has the opportunity object come with these fields. Okay, so I'm specifying the source as 100. This means that I want a data set to be created with this data. Okay, where the object is opportunity and the fields are, these are the fields. Okay, so so in parameters I've listed the source as 100. So this means I want this data to be put inside the dataset that is being created using sfdc register. So in alias and name, see here, here we put the name of the dataset. For example, when I clicked on create dataset, it is not yet saved right now. This is null because I'm not actually creating the JSON. And whenever I save this particular thing with the name, for example, I'm saving it with name OPP. So JSON, what it will do is it will pass opp here, opp as alias and opp as name. Okay, so basically this will create a data set with the name opp, where data set will be created with the name opp where the source will be this uh, well, the source will be opportunity object with the with these selected fields. Okay, so it will create a what it will do is it will create a data set with the name opp in wave analytics. Okay, with the source as 100. And what does 100 have? 100 is op is the opportunity data with the selected fields. So this is the opportunity data with these 14 fields. So it will create a data set. So it will create a data set with the name OPP. Um, so it will contain opportunity data. Okay, so so we learnt about SFDC digest and SFDC register. SFDC digest action will fetch the data from Salesforce, and SFDC register will um, create a data in Wave Analytics. Okay, so now we will learn about augment. So what does augment mean? As the name itself suggests, augment means we are augmenting something, like we are we are combining data from two data sources. Okay, so what does that mean? So combining data means like we have two tables, right? One is opportunity and another is accounts. Okay, so opportunity contains a field which is account ID. So account ID also has a field account ID. Okay, so the opportunities account ID field should be matched with ID field in account object. Okay, so this means opportunity opportunity dot account ID is equal to the ID in opportunity, right? So that's how the uh, relationship is described, right? So now I'll go ahead with creating a relationship. Okay, so we can join account object using the account ID field. Okay, since the account ID field present in opportunity will be matched with the ID field in account. Okay, so this way we can join opportunity with account. Okay, so now we have created a relation because opportunity is child and account is the parent. So I've created this relation now, and what I want to do is now I will add some fields, okay, in account, which is account description, account ID, account name, account number, account phone, account site, account source, account type, active or not, billing city, billing country. Okay, I think that's enough. Okay, so basically, what I did was I related the two objects, opportunity and account, with a particular field which is account ID, and I've selected some data from account also. Okay, so now this data set, whenever I create this data set will be able to show all the opportunities and the related accounts. Okay, so for example, OPP1, so it will be displaying data like this, OPP1, and then its data, and then finally the account that is related, like for example the account which is the parent of the OPP1, and then its data. Okay, so it will show data from two objects, OPP, opportunity, and account. Okay, so it will show data from these two objects, opportunity and account, and this way we have established a relationship of child and parent. Okay, so uh, now what needs to be kept in mind is, as I told you, when we are dealing with such relations, uh, we are joining data, right? We are joining data based on one field in opportunity, combined combined with one field from account. So which is the account id field in opportunity joined with id field and account. Okay, so now we will be able to see what is augmentation. Okay, so first, we'll see, this is the same thing. This is the id which can be, or extract opportunity or anything like that. You can name it anything you want. By default it is always 100, 101, 102, 103. This way it proceeds. Okay, as long as you keep creating objects and keep creating relations, it will name it as 100, 102, 103, 104, 105, this way. Okay, so this is again the same thing. Action is sfdc digest parameters. In parameters we put the object and the fields. So the object is opportunity and the fields are amount is deleted, description, fiscal year. So this will be repeated for this object which is account. For account also, what I'll do is I'll do an sfdc digest, right? I'll extract data of account from Salesforce. But remember that we have a relation, right? We need to establish a relation. How do we establish that relation? So we will see that here in this JSON. Okay, so as I told you, for 100 for this particular object opportunity, we fetched the data. Now we are fetching the data of account. Okay, now we are fetching the data of account object. So for this we have created another new node named 101. In 101 the action is sfdc digest, means we are fetching the data from Salesforce. And then in parameters the object name is account and the fields are, field name is description, field name is id, then the field name is name, then the field name is account number, then the field name is phone number, uh, phone, then the field name is site, then the field name is account source, then the field name is type, then the field name is active underscore underscore c, then the field name is billing city, then the field name is billing country, then the field name is shipping postal code. So these are all the fields that I selected for this particular object which is account. So now that we have fetched the values for both of these objects, I fetched the data for opportunity, I fetched the data for account. I've used the sfdc sfdc digest for both of these objects, and now I want to perform an augmentation. Okay, so this is the action I was talking about. This is augment. So remember, there are just a few things that you need to understand. You just need to understand a few actions and what we need to put in parameters. That's it, and you'll be able to create your own JSON in minutes. Okay, so that's really easy. So 100 and 101 were fetching the data of account and and opportunity. And in 102 what we are doing is now we are augmenting the data that we fetched. Okay, in 102 the action is augment. Okay, and in parameters we have the left, this can be called as left table also, the left table, and then we have another right table. Okay, so we will perform kind of we will perform a kind of left join. So what we will do is, in left we don't specify any fields, what fields we want. And why is it so? Because this is a left join by default. The left, the left table's data is kept there in the augmentation. All the fields are included by default. We don't need to specify them manually, right? So all the fields are included by default. Okay, so in left, the source is 100. This means The source is opportunity data, this one. So we are keeping it as the left table. Okay, so 102, in parameters the left table is 100, which means the opportunity data. And left key, we also need to specify the key with which we want the join to be join to be made. We can select the field which is used to join the two objects. Okay, here in our case it is account id. So account id is a field in opportunity which can be used to join opportunity with the related account. Okay, so in left I have specified the name of the source from where this left table should be fetched, and the left key is account id. Okay, remember you need to select this account id in your here you need to select it, because in 100 you need to have account id. Okay, if you have account id, then you can specify that the left key is account id. Okay, so it will get to know that, okay, this is the field we are talking about. uh, now now what we will do is, the next step is, like, this is the relationship name. Okay, so relationship name, how do we use this relationship name? Relationship name is something like, for example, when we are joining two tables, like, okay, so we might have fields with the same name. For example, account also has an amount field, and for example, opportunity also has an amount field. So both of them have an amount field. But after we perform a join, so how do we refer to one amount field? Okay, so if we try to specify the amount field, so it will confuse it will confuse the compiler as to which one we are talking about. Okay, so basically, what we will do is, we will name the relationship. So the name of the relationship is account id. So this way we can, for the right table, we can specify the name of the field as account id dot amount. Okay, so if I want to uh, refer any of the fields in right table, so I'll say account id dot amount. And if I want to refer any field on left table, I will simply say amount. That's it. So for this data set, amount means the amount field in left table, and account id dot amount means the amount field in the right table, which is this one. Okay, so here, in this case, I'm selecting the right source. This is 101, and the right key is this one. Okay, so this means, in right, we are specifying the account object. Okay, we are specifying that this is the right table, and what are the fields we want. And in right underscore key, we specify what is the field that needs to be joined with this left key. See, in left key, as I told you, in opportunity we have a field named account id. Okay, so account id is matched with id field in account. So I'll simply specify in right key id. I'll specify id in right key. So this means I want to join them based on account id from the left table and id from the right table, which is the account object. Okay, so right underscore select. In right underscore select, we specify the fields that we want to select from the right table. As I told you, in left table everything is selected by default, right? So all the fields are by default selected, but in case of the right table, we need to specify like what are the fields we want to use. For example, description, id, name, and account number. If I specify just these four, these four fields, then the data set that will be created with this 102 as source, it will contain all the fields from left table, and it will contain just four fields from the right table. Okay. So in this case, I am specifying all the fields that I selected there. So under right underscore select, description is there, id is there, name is there, account number is there, phone is there, site, account, source, type, active, billing city, billing country, shipping postal date, shipping postal code, sorry. So this was the augmentation. And then finally we are registering this all the data that we have augmented into a data set. Okay. So in 103 we are specifying the action as sfdc register. So as I told you that it will create a data set. Sorry. So in augment. Okay. So here in augmentation we can join the data from different objects by specifying the left node. As I told you, in our case it was the left one was the opportunity, the node for the opportunity, which is 100, and right node, which is 101, and we combined it in node number 102. So 102 was a combination of 100 and 101. Okay. So and we also need to specify a key with which the matching needs to be performed. And also remember to include in augmentation we need to include the fields from the right node, or you can say object. um, but obviously those fields should be specified in the nodes selected on for the right node. Okay. And remember we need to always give it a relationship name. So relationship relationship name must be provided. Okay. So this relationship name can be used later to refer to the fields. Okay. uh, and again sfdc register, as I already told you, sfdc register will be creating the data set. Okay. So sfdc register is just creating the data set in wave analytics. Okay. Here source is specified that we want to create the data set, and the source should be 102. See, this is where we perform the augmentation. Obviously we don't want to specify the source as 100 or 101, because if we specify the source as 100, so only the opportunity data set will be created. If we specify the source as 101, the account data set will be created. But if we specify the data source as 102, the combined data set will be created, which will contain the data from both the objects, opportunity, and as well as accounts, as well as the related accounts. Okay. So this is how we create the data set using SFDC digest. Now many people might think, what is this edgemart, what is this thing, right? So okay, so to give an example, this is also used to fetch data. Okay, this is also used to fetch data, extract or fetch data, but this is for the data that resides already there in wave analytics. Okay, so we can use this edgemart uh, action, and we can specify the source as the source as the name of any data set from which we want to extract the data. So that data set must be there in the wave analytics. Okay, so for example, I have a data set with the name opp underscore data test. Okay, opp underscore data test. So if I want to extract the data from this particular data set, I'll have to use the action. I'll have to use the action as edgemart. Okay, I'll have to use the in parameters, obviously. Within parameters, I'll have to specify the source. I'll specify the source as opp underscore data test. Okay, so this is how we are fetching the data from Salesforce Wave Analytics itself. Remember, SFDC Digest fetches data from Salesforce, not from Salesforce Wave Analytics. Okay, so to fetch the data from Wave Analytics, we use edgemart. So this action is used to fetch this data from Wave Analytics. Okay, so we can try another example to relate it further with the user object using owner id field. So account contains an owner id field, uh, and owner id field can be matched with the id field in the user object. Okay, so for user also, I can specify whether it is active, whether the user is active or not, and what is the country of the user, and what is the first name, full name, and last name of the user, what is the nickname, what is the username of the user. So I can specify these things. Okay, so if you go back to JSON, you will be able to see that another new node will be created. Actually, not one. One will be used for fetching the user data, and another will be used to augment this data, right? So 101 is SFDC digest, is fetching the data for account, and see now 102 is fetching the data from user. Okay, action is SFDC digest, and under parameters the object is user, and these are the fields. Okay, so this is id. This id is, remember, I did not select id. Okay, I actually this is used to relate the owner object with the account object. Okay, so account contains owner id. Okay, and this is the augment. This is the augment. Here we are augmenting here we are augmenting account with R101. Okay, so this is augmentation of account with opportunity. Okay, and then after those two objects are augmented, perform another augmentation with the user object. So this will augment all the three and create a new data set which will contain opportunity and the related account and the related users. Okay, so 103 is same as we saw 102 there. 102, the 102 node, here the left key is 100 and they are joined using this account id, and in right it is the right node is 101 and it is joined using id, and then I'm specifying these fields. Okay, now now in 104, now we are performing a third augmentation, I mean another augmentation. After the augmentation between opportunity and account, we are performing another augmentation between the data that is between the augmented data and the user object. Okay, so first what I'll do is I select the left key. I'll select the left table as the opportunity and account, the augmented data that is created. Okay, so 103 is the already augmented data. So this particular node contains that data from opportunity and the related account. Okay, and see, the left key is account id dot owner id. So as I told you, remember that the relationship name, which is account id, this was the relationship name. See, relationship name was account id, so account id dot owner id. So what does this mean? This means that account id dot owner id means that I'm talking about the right table. Okay, so the table that appears on the right side, which is the account object, I'm talking about the account object. So when I say account id dot owner id, I mean to say the owner id field from the right table. Okay, and if I specified just owner id, uh, it would have meant that I'm talking about owner id in the left field. Okay, so the right anything that appears on the right table needs to be we need to use the dot operator, in that case the relationship name dot the field name. Okay, so here the left key is account id dot owner id. Okay, so account id dot owner id means we want to join the owner id field in the account object, and then the relationship name, again the relationship name is account id dot owner id. Okay, this is the relationship name, account id dot owner id, and the right key is 102. So 102, remember, 102 was the user data, where we were fetching the user data. See, here we are fetching the user data, SFDC digest, parameters, object, user, and the fields related to the user. Okay, so 102, the right node is 102, which means the user data, and then the right ID is ID, right key is ID. As I told you, we are matching the ID field with the owner ID field in account object. That's why I've written account ID dot owner ID on the left key, and on the right key I've specified ID. Okay, now right select, as I told you, by default uh, all the data in the left table is selected by default, but for the right table we need to specify what are the fields that we need to include in this particular augmented data set. Okay, so in this augmented data set will finally will finally what we'll do is um, we'll finally specify all the fields that we want to be displayed in the final data set. So 104, it is the left source is 103, left key is account id dot owner id, relationship name is specified here, right key is the user data, right key is the id, and then under right select we have all these fields listed here. Okay, So then this is the closing bracket of right select. This is the closing the closing bracket for your parameters, and this is the closing bracket for your 104 node. And then after a comma we specify 105. And remember, if we remove this particular node, what will happen? The json will run as it should, but you will not be able to see any result. Why? As I told you, sfdc register is what creates a data set in wave analytics. So if you perform all the operation and you don't create a data set in wave analytics, then you won't be able to see any changes, right? Obviously those operations are performed, those operations are being performed, but after those operations are performed, you are not registering it or creating a data set for this thing. Then there's no use of performing those operations, right? So finally at the end we need to do an sfdc register. So using sfdc register, the action is sfdc register. The the parameters is source is 104, and is 104. This means this one, the final data set, which is the augmentation of all the three objects, which is opportunity, account, and user. It is an augmentation of all the three objects. Okay, first we created an augmentation between user sorry, the opportunity and the account object, and then finally we created an augmentation and between the augmented data that was previously that was previously found, and then we augmented use with the user object. Okay, so the augmentation of opportunity and account augmented with the user object. So this is 104. And then finally in sfdc register we provide the source as 104, since we want this final augmented data set. Okay, and in alias and name, as I told you, it will pass the same name when I create a data set and I specify the name as opp or something like that, opp data, opp test data. So it will be passed here in alias and name. So this way the data set will be created with opp whatever is passed here. Okay, so whatever is passed here, the data set will be created with that name. Okay, so that's all, friends. We have learned about json, and we have also performed a dataset creation with which this particular JSON was created. So obviously, remember, when you create such kind of JSON, you can always save this JSON. You can, if you want to save the JSON, you can click on save the JSON, and then you can in this alias you can write let's say opp underscore test, and then in the name you can write opp underscore test. Okay, you can write this thing, and then you can save all this data. Okay, you can save this json, and then if you want to upload this data set,